Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Johnny Fisher, Alen Babic, they've come face to face ahead of their fight on the 6th of July at the Copper Box Arena in London. And I quite like this fight. I think this is a good showcase opportunity for Johnny Fisher. He's going to be in against a guy that I think he is going to beat and handily, but it's his first main event and it's at a venue, sells a few more tickets. He's the headliner. They've already sold boatloads of tickets on his name. So this is a good intro for him as a main eventer. And obviously still quite young, 24 years old. They're looking to build him, and I think they're doing it the right way. And in Alen Babic, so what we'll do is we'll just go through the press release and then a few thoughts. But in Alen Babic, I'll just say this first. They've got a guy who has got a little bit of a profile. You know, he fights a certain way. He's exciting. It's all there for Johnny Fisher. It's set up for him to look good and get a highlight reel win, get a stoppage where Alen Babic is, staggering around the ring and gets taken out. Because that's what's going to happen, I believe. Sure, you can say Alen Babic has got, vastly more amateur experience, but we've already seen him at the pro level exposed at the top. He was stopped at bridgerweight inside a round by Lucas Brzezinski, looked terrible in that one. And on the way up, there were signs that, despite his style, he likes to come out and bang, that he was getting clipped by some guys that were just not very good. Journeyman, David Spilmont, for example. Babic hurt badly in that one. He'd been clipped in some other ones and obviously got through. He's at a certain level. I think Fisher, he's a cut above. He's bigger, he's longer, he hits harder, and he's going to take Babic out. But as you can see here, they've come face to face. So there was a press release, an event that Matchroom held. So you have Johnny Fisher saying, I'm very excited. As you said, and this is a saying of Eddie Hearn, lots of people are coming, but that means nothing to me. Me and Alen, we're going to get in the ring and we're going to have a proper tear-up. We're talking about Alen saying he's an underdog in this fight. Well, you're talking about 13 years of experience. You're talking about 10 years experience as an amateur, 100 fights. It sounds like you think you're the favorite for this fight. For me, the one thing you've got to realize is it's not about having to fight Alen Babic. It's about you having to fight Johnny Fisher. If you're in the sport of boxing and you care about what people think and what people say, then you're not in the right sport. Look of Tyson Fury, look at Anthony Joshua, look at Alexander Usyk. You're going to get criticism from every angle. What matters is you've got a team around you and you've got belief in yourself. Self-belief is something that I'm never going to be short of. I've definitely got the power. We've seen that before, but if we go to the trenches, that's what I believe I've got inside me. You can train as much as you want in the gym. You've got to have that inside you. That's a mentality that you're born with, no matter what background you're from. I've got that mentality. Every fight, the intensity goes up. The standard you hold yourself goes up as you get better as a fighter. As their team said, this is the right time now. It's going to be absolutely bouncing in the Copper Bosch. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. So we'll leave that there. We'll get down to Alen Babic just briefly. This is the first test, and I remember when I had my first test. It was about my third bout against Showdown. You were there, and you were telling me that you're not going to be able to do this. It's a 50-50 fight. I was there, and I'm at least 5 years into this testing and stuff. I know what it brings. That's why I said yes to this fight, and I feel like it's a present from God for me. I've 13 years of fighting at elite level. I was one fight away from the Olympics, so I met strong men every day of my life. Strong punchers, power punchers, big men. I've fought them all and been through them all. I know what to expect. He wasn't. That's the point of it. He wasn't there 13 years of fighting. He's a very young man. I think he was about 10 years old then. Since then, I've been fighting big, strong punches. Don't talk about big, strong punches. They're like something new to me. Anyway, we'll leave that there. I mean, Alen Babic, I don't really see him as a proper heavyweight. He should be at cruiserweight. And we've already seen him get banged out at bridgerweight. And it's not to say that he can't have some success against Johnny Fisher in this fight. I think with his unorthodox style, with him coming out and basically swinging for the fences and going for it, maybe he could connect on Fisher, but I think we've already seen in some of the punches that Fisher has faced, or some of the guys that have landed on him, he can take a punch. I think he's got a good chin, but I think in this fight with Alen Babic, it's not so much that he has to worry about what Babic is doing, because he'll be aware of that. He'll be training for this, the unorthodoxy of Alen Babic. I think the thing is, what's going to happen when he connects with Babic? I mean, we've already seen Babic taken out. We've seen him hurt multiple times in his career. I think the thing is, this is an opportunity for him, and of course he's going to take it, because what else was there after he got embarrassed by Lucas Brzezinski? It's gone pretty quiet for Alen Babic. So this is, I see it as a good showcase for Johnny Fisher. I think Johnny Fisher, if he's brought along the right way, and we're seeing improvements from him, working with Mark Tibbs, in that gym, he's getting better. He's only going to get better. Alen Babic is not the sort of guy I don't think that's really going to test him in the way that he probably needs. Against guys that are slick boxers, that can box and move, that can, use feints, that can, make him think that he has to figure them out. Those are the guys that are really going to test him. We already saw a little bit earlier in his career, I forget who it was, but he had one of those tests, and they haven't really gone back to that sort of opponent since then. Was it Gabriel Nguema? I think it was. He didn't have too much trouble in terms of he was never really in trouble, but he was biting on feints, and he was just made to think about what he was doing, and he wasn't as aggressive and able to do as much as he wanted to do. Against Babic, there's none of that nuance. Babic is going to come out, what he's going to do, what to expect. Even if he tries to box, Fisher can outman Alen Babic in that sort of fight. And I know Babic has some rabid fanboys and that sort of stuff who are going to come to the channel here, watch this video. They're going to be upset and bitter that I'm writing Babic off, but Johnny Fisher has got far too much for Alen Babic. We know where his level is. Alen Babic is effectively a domestic level fighter. Fisher is bound for much more than that. Is it too much too soon? No, I don't think so. And there is talk that in the next few fights that potentially Fisher could fight for the British heavyweight title. I wouldn't mind that at all. I think at some point, you're going to have Fraser Clark and Fabio Wardley moving on. You're going to have David Adeleye and also Solomon Dakers on the scene. Those are the guys at a certain point that Fisher needs to be fighting in the next few fights. That sort of level of opposition, because he's building to that. Sure, he's still raw. He can be refined further, and that's a gradual process where he's going to keep building and, taking small steps and adding to his arsenal. But this fight, he's going to get a good win here against Alen Babic. For Babic, of course he's going to take it, and if he somehow snuck through here, it'd be a huge boost for his career if he got a win. Let's face it. He's kind of, he needs to take these opportunities, because what else is out there? He's got some name recognition from the pandemic and some of those fights and the way that he fights, and he's a fun fighter to watch. But, you go at 100 miles an hour and you've basically got a lot of gaps and flaws in your arsenal. Guys with skills and guys who can punch, and especially punch hard, when they connect, they're going to hit and hurt you and take you out. That's what's going to happen here. Drop a comment loud enough and hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.